Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to my N-Scale New York Cross Harbor layout. This is the December 2025 layout update, and I want to show you guys what I've been working on for the past few weeks. The first thing, and probably the biggest thing, is that I've got the layout now mounted onto my walls. And the way I did this is with some semi-heavy duty shelving brackets that I got from Home Depot. I believe they have like a 300-pound weight capacity to them. This layout is absolutely nowhere near that, so I'm not worried about the weight capacity at all. And each of these risers is screwed directly into the studs in my walls here. So it's very sturdy. It seems like it's gonna hold up pretty well, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. One of the big downsides to having the layout now mounted to the wall is that you can see all of the wires underneath, so let's talk about that. All of my wires are now pretty exposed. So I gotta get under there and clean up this rat's nest. I think I need to get Eric from Chicago Crossing Model Railroad here to give me a hand with this. But in all seriousness, it's really not as bad as it looks. Honestly, the big problem here is really just excess length. Because this sat on top of these bookshelves before, I had to make it in such a way, I had to wire it up in such a way that I could reach the wires from underneath just by pulling this out off the edge of the bookshelf a little bit. So the main thing that's really troubling underneath here is mostly just excessive wire. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a pain to straighten out. It is gonna require me to actually get under here and probably rewire it, like the whole length of it. But the main power comes in down at this side here, and the bus runs linearly across the length of the layout. So I really just need to rerun the bus and trim up some of those feeder wires. And you know, I use these Wago connectors for all of my feeders, feeder attachment points. So I don't think it'll be too bad. I think I'm just gonna have to, you know, cut them back a little bit and reattach them. Not too big of a deal. My biggest concern is gonna be with these hex frog juicers. I have like 5 of them across the layout, I think. And I think that that's probably gonna be the biggest problem to do, partially because the wire that I used to connect these is solid wire, it's not braided. So it's a little bit more stiff and a little less forgiving. So that's gonna be a little bit more of a problem to deal with. But you know, it's all doable. It's gonna be one really long day in the wintertime kind of project, I think. So one of the advantages to mounting the layout to my wall now is that I have better control over what the height of the layout is set to. And for the longest time, I was working with the layout on top of the bookshelf, so I was constantly kind of looking down at it. And now I've got it here. And this might actually be a little bit high. I'm 6 foot tall, and right now the top of the layout is at 59.5 inches. So it's really, really great for viewing. Like, it's very close to my eye level and everything. And since the scenes aren't super deep, I could still reach to the backdrop pretty easily. It's not bad. The layout is only about 2 feet deep. I am still kind of on the fence with it a little bit, because when I'm operating, if the yard is full of train cars, like, I can't see where some of the switches are switched to. And since I'm using manual switch controls, I kind of need a visual of the turnout alignment. So I'm a little bit on the fence if I should drop it down by maybe like 1 peg on the shelving bracket. But I mean, I kind of like where it is right now, to be honest. Like, it is really a great height to look at the trains. It's close to my eye level. If I want to even make it like more realistic, I could just drop down a little tiny bit, and it's not too bad. So yeah, the layout is 59.5 inches tall. I'm 6 foot tall, so what is that, 60 something inches, or 70 inches, whatever. So shorter people, if anybody comes to visit the layout, might have a problem. Like, my wife is like 5'4", so she's she's a little bit too short to see the layout, but it's really just me for the most part operating here by myself. So it really just needs to be set for me. So this is pretty much my point of view of the layout when I'm standing at it, which is really great, right? Like, you could see, like, it's a really good viewing height to see all the train cars, to see the buildings. It's pretty realistic looking. But you can imagine from operating from this height, if you have to throw one of those switches up here, you know, you can't really see what the orientation is. Like I kind of have to get up on my tippy toes a little bit sometimes to get a good view of those turnouts. But you know, if I need to lower the layout by like one peg on the shelf brackets in the future, it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So I think I'm gonna just keep it here for now, and we'll see kind of how it goes over time. But I really do enjoy the height. So while the camera is set up in this position, I might as well talk about the backdrop as well. So I completed the backdrop on the main part of the layout, and I also completed it back here behind the barge scene. And in fact, I'll get some B-roll footage of this. It's actually the same image across the entire backdrop here. And what I did was, the first section of the backdrop actually ends right here. And this section right here, this last like 3 feet, is a new print of the same photograph, but what I did was I reversed the image. So there's a seam right here, and I'll try to get a little bit of B-roll of it, but the image actually goes from being regular to reversed, and you honestly can't tell because I've got it matched up pretty well. And then what I did was, for the section behind the barge here, it's still the same photograph as the background that I used here, but I used Photoshop to remove some of the additional buildings so that it looked a little bit different, but it still had the same feel to it. Because this photo is all from the actual Bush Terminal area. This is the real location, so that's why it works so well. But I didn't want it to feel too repetitive. So the fact that behind the barge is the same image, but it's reversed and some of the buildings have been removed, it makes it look like a totally new image. And the way that it kind of brought that scene together is just, it looks so good right now. Like with I wish I did the backdrop years ago, but I wasn't ready to do it, and I didn't have I didn't really have the space for it in my apartment. So now that that is complete, I'm super excited for that, and it looks really, really good. Let's take a closer look at the backdrop over here. I've got the camera zoomed out pretty wide, but you can see the backdrop, the image is actually the same, and there were a few buildings sort of tucked away in here, and I think there was a building here as well that I removed using Photoshop. So if I spin around, actually, and if I come over here, this is the same background, so you can see the amount of buildings that I actually did remove. Just left a couple of them. And since the image is reversed, it's over there. So that big dark building, this gray building, this building here. So I just left some of these foreground ones. So if we come back over here, one of my favorite parts of the backdrop is the little bit of water that kind of comes up right behind my modeled water here. So that looks really cool, helps bring the scene together a lot better. I got the sun. Sun is blasting in right now. It's the morning time. But if you look down this way, right there is the portal to the staging yard. Got one single track of staging located behind the barge. There's a little cutout. I don't even know if it's in the frame. It's right back here in the backdrop, and it's actually cleverly hidden by this building as well. But that leads to a single track staging yard, which allows me to run trains from this main yard here to the Long Island Railroad or New York and Atlantic, whatever the interchange is, depending on the era that I'm modeling. But it does allow me to actually take some trains from the layout here and run them someplace else, which has been really nice. I've only done like 1 or 2 operating sessions so far making use of that, but it's been really nice. It's a little cramped back there. It's just wide enough for the track to kind of like squeeze between the wall and the back of the backdrop, so I can't really get my hand in there. So hopefully there's no derailments or anything like that, but that's been a really nice addition so far. You can see that there's some wood sticking out here. This is a shim, but this is part of the frame. There's one here, and the reason that this is still sticking out is because I'm gonna be putting the expansion on the front here in probably the next few weeks. That's the future. That's what the next project is gonna be, is gonna be adding this it's like 3 inches to the front of the layout. So that's gonna allow me to add a couple of more tracks. I'll talk more about that in a moment. But as you can see, all of these controls, these turnout controls are gonna have to be relocated. The fascia is gonna have to be redone. It's gonna be major surgery, put it to you that way. But that is why that these are still protruding here. I'll cut the shim when the time comes. But the new front of the layout will be about 3 inches further forward from where it is now. This section over here is not getting expanded. It's just the main section of the yard. So I'm very excited about that. It's really gonna complete the layout, I think. But I'm a little nervous, I'll be honest. Something else I added were all of these lights here. These are OttLight easel lights. So this is how I have the layout lit up. I'm not gonna build some kind of like hanging lighting system or a valance or, you know, a shadow box or anything like that. I'm not doing that. So this was the only thing that I could find that would allow me some flexibility to, you know, put some lighting in that is nice daylight balanced, soft light, and it does a pretty good job. Like I said, right now it's the morning time, so there's a lot of ambient light in here too. But this does do a very good job at nighttime, illuminating everything pretty evenly. There's some dark spots, but I can live with that. While I've still got the camera handheld, let's discuss the expansion and the surgery that is gonna be required pretty soon. So as mentioned, we've got these extra supports that are sticking out here. So about 2 to 3 inches of additional layout space is gonna be added here. And all of these little pull things, these little plungers for my turnout control are gonna have to be relocated to the new fascia. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. The one thing that I'm really more worried about is actually removing some of these turnouts. I'm gonna have to remove this turnout and this turnout. And I'm gonna be adding in like 3 more turnouts on the yard ladder right here. And I think only 1 more over here. I think it's 3 here and 1 here. Because there will be a bit of a gap between yard tracks in the front here. So in addition to that, this turnout here will also be removed. And I believe this whole section of track here is also gonna have to be removed. And it's essentially gonna get moved more to the new section of layout space that I'm gonna be adding here. It's really tough to visualize, and obviously in the next layout update video you'll see it, but I've already got the section at the end down here where the engine shed is going to be added, and I'm just gonna move my tripod here. I have a mock-up of the footprint for the engine shed. So that's gonna sit pretty much right in here. So if you can imagine a little bit extra on the front of the layout here with some tracks that are gonna lead into this. If you've seen my New York Cross Harbor Trains video series, you'll recognize this scene. So if you're not familiar, go watch that and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna build the engine shed from scratch right here. This is about the size of the footprint. This is about where it's going to live. So it's gonna be quite a bit of surgery on the layout. I'm very nervous about it because I have a functioning, you know, lovely layout right now. And I'm gonna completely upset the apple cart, essentially, by ripping all of this apart. I mean, I guess it's better than redoing the whole layout again, but it sort of feels like that's what I'm gonna be doing. Additionally, the new turnouts that I will be adding, I'll be adding, I think, like 7 new turnouts. They're all going to be handmade. I have a friend of mine who is helping me, well, not helping me, he's building the turnouts for me, and he's gonna send them to me in the next couple of weeks. So the new turnouts on the layout are gonna be handmade because these Atlas Code 55 number 5s are just awful, and I'm tired of using them. And I'm half tempted to replace all of my turnouts on the layout with handmade ones, but I honestly think that that's just gonna be too large of a surgery, and at that point I'm essentially rebuilding the entire layout because, I mean, what is this? 80% of the layout is probably just turnouts. So I'd be a little bit nervous about doing that. So I'm just gonna start with some of the new turnouts, and then we'll see how that goes. And one project that I've been working on, which took the better part of most of the fall, is completing my locomotive fleet by completing the 2 S2s that were missing, which is number 25 and number 22. You've seen them operating a little bit throughout this video. I was unable to find an undecorated S2 anywhere, so I actually bought 2 of these Southern Pacific S2s and disassembled them and stripped them and used that as my base for number 25 and number 22. And they came out pretty good. I am extremely happy with how these models turned out and the decals and everything. I was a little bit worried about 25 doing that red stripe on the side, but I think it came out really good and the decals all look really great. So I'm very happy with this. And now I have a full fleet of New York Cross Harbor locomotives. And lastly, I've been really dug into adding lighting and additional details to some of my more completed scenes that you can see here. I've been buying a bunch of 3D printed little models, I guess you can call them models, or details from various 3D printing vendors online, including pallets and pallet jacks and these road cones and traffic barrels and all this sort of stuff. And I've been having a lot of fun painting them and putting them in different places on the layout. So that's been a lot of fun. And I've also been really focused on adding some more lighting to the layout here. I'm using LEDs from Evan Designs, and I'm really happy with these little Pico LEDs. I think they look really good, and I'm really excited to continue adding them to the rest of the buildings on the layout, but that's going to be a long-term project. Lastly, just to close things out, at the end of January, I will be at the Amherst Train Show in Springfield, Massachusetts. So if you're going to be there, you can keep an eye out for me. I'll have my AM hoodie on most likely, so I'll be pretty noticeable, and I would love to say hi to you guys. But that's all I got for this layout update video. I'll bring you guys back in a couple of months when I've done a little bit of construction, and hopefully things will be looking not too bad of shape by then. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.